The object 452K, this is a new tier 10 Russian premium heavy tank. This will be an assembly workshop tank. So let's talk about the history about this tank. This tank was on the blueprint has been made on the blueprint in 1960. So this is the post-World War period, which means this tank is better than the World War II tanks. This tank actually has never been made, was built in only the blueprint, and the World of Tanks has made this tank. So the interesting thing about this tank is that the tank is a very low profile typical Russian tank with low profile, which means this tank has a really good camo value. For example, the base concealment value of this tank is 271, and the Leopard 1 concealment base camo value is 248, which means this Russian heavy tank has better camo value than the Leopard 1. And with graded crew and equipments, this can go up even better than many other TDs or medium tanks. So the interesting thing about this tank is that the driver is not here in the lower plate, so which means if you shoot here in the middle of the lower plate, you will not slow down and you will not eliminate the driver of this tank, because the driver of this tank is actually here in this cupola. Here we have the commander, and here we have the gunner, and the driver has gotten here on a periscope, which means through this he can drive the tank. This is the invention about this tank. So let's talk about now the crew of this tank. Here we have 4 crew members: the commander, gunner, driver, and the loader of this tank. The gun here we have 130mm caliber gun. So let's talk about the stats of this tank. The DPM of this tank is 2.5k, which is good because we have here 13.4 second reload time for 560 alpha damage. This alpha damage can high roll up to 700, so it's really amazing. The gun depression of this tank is 7 degree down and 20 up, which is good for a Russian tank. This is good. The accuracy of this gun, we have here 0.36 dispersion value and 2.4 second aim time. Dispersion value is okay, the aim time is long, will go down easily. HP of this tank, here we have 2.4k HP. The armor of this tank, here we have, this is the hull armor, front, side and rear, and as you can see the hull armor is really well angled, but we have here flat side shoulder plates, which means automatically this tank can't side scrape, because here is easy green. Now we have on the side some space protection armor, because this is our spaced armor, and here we have the actual armor. Turret armor, here we have 130 on the front side and rear, but because of this well angled shape, aggressively angled armor, here we have in reality the effective armor of this tank is 400 and plus. Here for example the gun is 600mm. So but I will analyze the armor of this tank in a minute. Let's continue with the review of this tank. This tank weighs in 55 tons. This means 55 tons with 750 horsepower. This means the speed of this tank forward is 35 km/h forward speed and 15 reverse speed. Whole reverse speed is 31.2 degree per sec, which means that this tank turns its hull faster than an average heavy tank. But the gun reverse speed, the turret reverse speed is 26 degree. This is a typical heavy tank turret turning speed like the Defender has. So it's nothing special here, but the hull is actually turns faster. As I mentioned, the concealment of this tank. The concealment of this tank is really good and will go up even at 560 even up. The view range of this tank is 390 meter, which is good, and the signal range is 730. Let's go now and configure this tank. So here I added already all the good crew skills what we can have here, the camo skills, because why not, and we have this camo paint, the stabilizer here, and here we have as an equipment, here I have the vent, rammer, and this improved turbo and stabilization as well. The first slot is HP, and second slot you can choose firepower or mobility. So if you want you can turbocharge the tank, but I think it is not necessary, because let's check the field modification here. This to maintain the tank speed, this to have quicker aiming time, but if you want more accurate gun you can select this, but the aim time will go up. So let's go with this here with extra view range. Here this will give us plus 2 km/h forward speed and even plus 5% hull forward speed, which means this tank will turn his hull even faster, and here is nothing good. Let's check now the munition of this tank. AP has 260mm of base penetration value with 1000 meter per sec shell velocity speed, and one shell cost 1250 credits. The heat has 320mm of base penetration value with 950 meters per sec shell velocity speed, and one shell cost 5200 credits, which is actually good because one shell will deal 560 alpha damage up to 700, so this is a really good deal, definitely worth to spam the heat. The HM mission has got 525 alpha damage with 65 meters of base penetration value and a 950 meter per sec shell velocity speed, and one shell cost 990 credits. So let's check now stats with this configuration. DPM of this tank is 3.1k, which means we have 10.8 second reload time for 560 alpha damage, which can high roll up to 700. 100. Gun traverse speed is now quick, 30 degree per sec, definitely more than an average heavy tank has. Accuracy of this gun, we have 0.3 for dispersion value and 2 second aim time basically, which is actually good now. We have here some stabilization, HP 2520 HP. Here we have the mobility of this tank now, 42 km/h forward speed, 18 reverse speed, hull traverse speed 36.3 degree per sec, quick, definitely quick. Now the hull and the turret turns quick. The concealment 577, which is more than the Leopard 1 has, with even camo low exhaust noise configuration. This tank has got better camo than medium and even TD tank. The view range 449 meter, definitely good. Signal range is okay. And let's go now and check the armor of this tank. So the armor of this tank, I'm comparing the armor of this tank against the Object 277, which has 265 mm of base AP penetration value and 340 heat and 65 HE. The tank in the lower plate has got around 182 armor, the midsection 246, upper plate 243, and here even 270. Now the turret of this tank front, here we got around 320, 325. The gun mantlet is 600 all over, so no weak spot on the gun mantlet here, not even at the lower and the upper side. But this tank has got an oscillating turret like the Grand 1 has, which means when this tank goes in gun depression, the top of the turret will stick out. Now this, and actually the top of the turret is overmatchable with 122mm caliber guns, which means if your tank is tall, and definitely will be taller because this tank has a really low profile, that means even the mouse with AP or any tall tank will just shoot down on the top of the tank and will be easy pan with AP because it will overmatch with 122mm calibers gun. So this is the weak spot of this tank. Let's go and check the side of this tank, the side armor. So from the left side here, in the gun here we have around 172, 165 all over. In the hull, around 200 here, but from the midsection is only 100. Below the tracks from 102 to 100. Let's go to the rear side of this tank. The back of the turret 60, here 50, the rear of the hull and engine bay 65. Other side same configuration here from the gun 172 and even a 40mm here. And where is this elevation? In the turret 170, same configuration 100 from the midsection to the upper side 200, here 100. Let's go and check the tank in side scraping position. This tank can side scrape because of the flat shoulder plate now, but even then here we have around 250, 200, basically 250mm of armor protection value, which can be penetrated by tier 8 tanks, but they have to use actually gold to pen because 250 not many tank has, even on the APCR 256 or 270, so you have to use gold to pen this tank even in side scraping position. When the tank goes in 7 degree of gun depression, this is basically impenetrable. Nothing will stick out. As you can see, when he goes 7 degree, nothing will stick out. Like this is your point of view. Around 600, 700 here. Let's switch to heat, 340 heat. So a small thin line below the neck, below the gun here we have, which has got around 315mm of armor protection value. So this is the only weak spot on this tank. Other than that, it's just not penetrable. And yeah, even against heat ammunition, even this is not overmatchable at a good angle, but like this. So you have to be tall and this tank definitely. Overall, the armor of this tank is definitely good, well angled, aggressively angled. Look at this, like it's just unpenetrable in position, but we have here a sticking out top of the gun. The conclusion about this tank is, let's talk about the good things. So what is it good about this tank? DPM is good, the accuracy of this gun is good, aim time good, 7 degree gun depression is good, not even 8 degree, but for a Russian tank this is good. And this tank has a low profile, which means even the Object 430U has 5 degree gun depression, but that tank can play in a hold down position because how low profile the tank is. DPM is good, reload time is good, turret reverse speed is good, HP good, we have some good stabilization here. The speed 42 forward, 18 reverse is good, hull reverse speed good, the concealment definitely good for a heavy tank and even for better than a medium or so many TD. Camo value, view range is good. So basically everything is good about this tank. Bad thing, let's say like that, the speed is not that great. 42 forward, 18 reverse is not as fast, but this tank deals 560 alpha damage, so you have to keep in mind this. Like this is a hard hitting tank, which is definitely will hit hard. This will elevate up when you're going under pressure. This will stick out. And any tank which is this tank has low profile, but other tanks all taller and they will pan you in the top of the turret, which is easy. Overmatchable 122 plus millimeter caliber guns. So you have 122 or bigger, you can overmatch. You are a tier 8 VK, you can pan this tank in the top. But basically in 7 degree of depression, this tank is OP and unpenetrable. Even in side scraping position, you have to use 250 to pan this. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe.